Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I want to talk to the guys who constantly complain about dating apps, and at the same time, they say they want to meet someone in real life. Because here's a pattern that I see all the time. Men say they hate dating apps. They say they think the apps are shallow and exhausting and demoralizing. I see it all the time, and I hear it all the time. And I understand, I get it, I get it. It's not like you're wrong. But you say you want something real. Those guys say they want something real, they want organic connection, they want to meet someone naturally. And then here's the mind boggling part, they do absolutely nothing about it. Nothing to improve the situation, nothing to change the situation. I mean, they don't approach women in real life, they don't start conversations, not with women, not with men, just generally don't. They don't put themselves in social situations. I get it. When you go to the gym, for instance, you walk around with your headphones on. That doesn't really leave a lot of room for social interaction. And they don't change their routines, for instance. The only thing they really do is delete the apps, stay home, and hope something magically happens. But that's not choosing real life, man. That's choosing inaction. That's choosing I do nothing instead. Let's be honest for a moment. I mean, I get it. The dating apps aren't perfect, and yeah, I'm down to agree to say yes, sometimes they just suck, like really, really suck. I get it. They can be frustrating and, they compress attraction into photos and text. I get it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, the apps do reward speed over depth. All of that is true. I mean, I get it. I've been there. I'm still there. I get the same frustrations. I have the same complaints you guys have. But the apps are still a tool. Still a tool to use as such. And if you're not replacing that tool with real world action, you're not opting out of the dating apps. You're opting out of dating altogether. A lot of men romanticize meeting someone naturally. I get it, but they never define what that actually looks like. Real life doesn't mean a movie moment where, someone bumps into you at the bookstore and, falls in love with you. We don't have those meet cutes in real life. We don't have that. It doesn't happen. Maybe one in a million. But real life means initiative. It means starting conversations. It means being willing to feel, a little uncomfortable at moments. You have to do something. If you're not willing to walk up to a woman, say hello, and risk hopefully polite rejection, then you don't actually want real life dating. You're just complaining that you don't like the apps, but you're not willing to change anything. And that's a very important distinction. Here's the uncomfortable truth, guys. Dating requires exposure. Dating requires action. Now, whether that exposure is through an app or through real life, you're still putting yourself out there. You have to. There's no option that involves zero effort and zero discomfort. That option is not available. So you might have to pick the better of, you know, no, not the better, but the lesser of two evils. That's what you have to do. So you have two real choices, really. That's all you have. You either use the dating apps intentionally without letting them define your self-worth and, try to not get as frustrated, or you actively build a life where meeting women in real life is possible. The second option means that you have to change how you spend your time. You need to go places where, conversation is normal. You have to be willing to join activities. You have to say yes to social opportunities. Talking to people without an agenda should be part of the game, and you should be okay with, feeling awkward at times. What it doesn't mean is sitting at home scrolling and complaining, complain on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on whatever it is. But you gotta stop complaining, man. You have to take action. Another thing that men don't like to admit is that dating apps provide some sort of structure. They give you volume. I mean, you get tons of women, even if they don't match with you, but they give you a lot of volume that you probably wouldn't even be able to get in your lifetime. They give you access. And when you remove them, you need to replace that structure with something else. Otherwise, nothing will fill that gap. And here's where a lot of frustration comes in. You know, guys say they want, quote unquote, real connection, but they don't want to do the real world work that creates real connection or, opens the door to real connection. They want the idea of, organic dating without the actions that make it possible. You don't need to approach every woman you find attractive. You don't need to do that. You don't need to turn into some pickup artist. But you do need to stop waiting and take action. Waiting for confidence is not part of the game. Waiting for the perfect moment is not part of the game. And waiting until you feel ready is not part of the game. Action creates readiness. There's no other way around. You have to, go for it. So if you hate dating apps, that's fine. You're allowed to. I get it. I get it. I hate dating apps as much as the next guy. But at the same time, I like dating apps also quite a lot. But if you hate the dating apps, then you need to make a choice. Either use them anyway, intentionally and calmly, or go build a social life where real connection happens. Complaining without action isn't a stance, it's a stall. You're not doing anything. Dating doesn't reward comfort. It never will, never has. But what dating does reward is movement. You know, people who take action, the guys who take action, they get shut down 99 out of 100 times. But that also means they will, win the prize once in 100 times. So dating definitely rewards taking action, moving. So stop complaining and do something about it. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.